Hello lovely people, it's Nicola back in the Stitches and Slapdashery sewing room. How are you? It's just been a few days since my last vlog, but I'm all excited to show you some other stuff. I'm sitting here on a Sunday afternoon and I want to do a little bit of painting just because I want to slosh some paint around. I'm no good at it, but I just enjoy it a lot. So I last vlogged on New Year's Day. I think today is the 6th. It's Sunday anyway, and New Year's Day was Wednesday. Maybe it's the 5th today. I'm so bad at knowing what day it is. I'm pretty sure it's the 5th of January, 2025. Yeah, I got there in the end. One of the things that happened to me a few nights ago was I had a dream. And I don't know if it's because I've been doing this granny square sweater, but I was dreaming about this really bulky crochet. It had, I think it was the yoke of a sweater. And it just had really, really big stitches. And so just because I wanted to play, I got a 12mm hook out and I got all this worsted weight yarn. It's jammed into a Wool Warehouse organza bag right now. And I think I triple stranded it, and I just practiced trying to start a sweater neck, and I just did some chains and then I did some granny stitches. It was harder than I thought it was going to be. You know, you follow a pattern and you think, oh, this isn't so hard, anyone could do this. Apparently not. So I unraveled it again, so I don't have anything to show you, but I just thought it was rather funny that I was trying to manifest something physically that I dreamt about. It did not actually come to be. And of course this, I don't know what this weighs, but I suspect I could make another blanket out of that. So I have a feeling that there's a blanket in my future there. When I looked at my stash the other day, I thought, I don't really have that much yarn. At least, this is the thing, I don't have that much yarn I want to use. I have a bit of DK, a bit of worsted, and some other random bits and pieces. But this year is going to be the year I burn through a decent amount of it. Because that way, I feel more justified when I see something I really, really want and I buy it and add it to the stash. Because I've used up more than is coming in, if you know what I mean. I don't know if you've ever done the stash flash on Ravelry, but every year there's a flash your stash thread on Ravelry, on the main forums, the main yarn forum. And I think last year I actually started up myself. It was maybe December 31st or January the 1st, and I started it myself. I said, hey, it's time to flash your stash. Here, have at it. And somebody else did it this year because I didn't think of it. And I haven't done a stash flash in a really long time. So if you don't know what that is, you basically get all of your yarn out. You lay it all out. You can sort it if you want. You can sort it into weights or colours or whatever you like. Or you can just throw it all on the floor or on a queen-size bed or whatever it takes. Take a picture and then upload it to that thread. And then quite often what people are aiming to do when they do that is to make themselves realise what they have and figure out a plan for using it. But as I say, I don't really feel like I have that much. And I think a few small projects and a blanket would probably burn up what I have. Before we start talking about the Faraway jumper, which we will shortly, I just want to show you this fun thing I bought this week. Oh, look at that. It's like a whole suitcase with lots of smaller containers in. A gradient from clear through to this deep greeny blue. Let me see if I can open this. The handle is challenging. So this is the size of the containers. Do I know what I'm going to put in this? No, I do not. But that's okay. And then we start from a light green and then, you know, a more bluey green all the way through to the deepest blue. And they're so pretty. 16 of them in one case. So I think there's going to be a little bit more organisation in my sewing room once I figure out what's going in there. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is yet. Also, before I talk about the Faraway jumper, let's show you what I made today. It's a Sunday, and of course Sunday mornings are the best times for going out for a cup of tea at our favourite tea shop. And I took out this little Japanese knot bag that I made a long time ago out of a rather adorable foxy fabric. And I took some Knit Picks Brava. I had a whole bunch of these in mini balls, Knit Picks Brava. I think it was a set. And you got, I think, all the colours in this set of, I can't remember how many. Maybe not all the colours. Anyway, I can't remember because I've had them for years. And I've got so many partial balls from that. So I took out rainbow colours, and I also took out a ball of white cotton, which is Drops Paris. Now I bought 2 full bags of Drops Paris and also Drops Saffron a long time ago because it's cotton and I wanted to try dyeing yarn. And I did a little bit of dyeing, but I've still got a lot of it left. A lot. So look what I made. Isn't he cute? Well, he's not a he, he's a they. This is a non-binary, gender fluid snow person. And there is a little, I was going to do a fully rainbow hat and scarf on for each thing, but there wasn't room. It was just so tiny. So I used the red, orange, yellow for the scarf, and then I made the hat with the blue, purple, or green, blue, and purple. And I put some safety eyes on. I did consider a little nose, but when I tried an orange nose, it didn't look anything like a carrot. It looked more like a beak, and then it made it look like a bird, and I didn't want it looking like a bird. So this is for attaching a pin on the back and attaching to my work uniform. I want to wear this, so there's at least, a couple of months of winter left, at least. And I think that maybe adorning my work vest, which is red, not very sexy colour. Red doesn't suit me. But never mind. I'm going to start pinning little amigurumi onto my work outfit. Sorry, I think I'm hitting the microphone there. But I think that is just the right size for a cute little pin. So sweet. And of course, I have other ideas. I'm thinking maybe a sun, a star, a snowflake. Sky's the limit. But that's the first one. Very, very adorable. And I started that and finished it while we were sitting at the tea shop having our cup of tea. The other thing I wanted to mention, thank you to whoever it was who recommended Katy Bowman's books. I don't think I have your name. I only have your YouTube handle. And last time I was talking about this being the year that I would fix my darned plantar fasciitis in my right foot. This is the year I'm going to deal with it once and for all. So somebody mentioned this Katy Bowman, and this is one of the books that came from the library this week. It's called Rethink Your Position, Reshape Your Exercise, Yoga, and Everyday Movement One Part at a Time. And Katy Bowman has written quite a few books, and quite a few of them are at my local library. I think I put 4 on hold. So this is the first one that came in. I haven't got the others yet. But just from reading the foot chapter in this one, it's been very educational. So thank you. And I've realized that restarting yoga is going to be a huge help. So I need to stretch not just my calves, but my hamstrings. And also, I'm at a bit of a crossroads right now. Katy is very much a proponent of barefoot shoes, or zero rise shoes, as they're called a lot of the time. And I've been curious about those for a really long time. all of the arch supports and soft shoes I've been buying, like the Skechers with their foam, memory foam soles and the extra arch supporting insoles and everything else, doesn't seem to be making it all go away. It might just be a temporary alleviation of the pain, but I still get pain afterwards. When I sit down and then get up off the couch, I'm hobbling still. I'm considering going for something like a barefoot shoe. I think it might be more painful in the short term, but then my legs and feet will get used to them, and then maybe it will just go away ultimately. But for now, I have started yoga again. Mr. Stitches and I did did about 15 minutes of yoga. I got YouTube on and went back to my favorite YouTuber, Mady Morrison, favorite yoga YouTuber, I should say. And Mady Morrison is German, and I used to do her yoga every single day. I would pick one of her videos, depending on how much time I had or how challenging I wanted it to be, and I would do one of her videos, normally before I went to work, because that was when I was at Fabricland, and I quite often didn't start till 10 o'clock in the morning, so I had time to fit it in before I went out to work. And yeah, it felt really good to stretch my body. How many times are we sitting on the couch thinking, oh, I ache? In a lot of places, all we have to do is get off the couch and stretch. It's kind of challenging when you have a really good crochet project that you don't want to put down, but you have to do it, right? So I did a few minutes of yoga again just now. I wanted to get all of the good stuff out of the way before I started talking to you guys and doing any more crocheting or painting or anything. So after our tea, we did a good long walk, came home, had some lunch, and then I did a little bit of weight training. I say weight training, it feels really pathetic, but I've got a set of dumbbells upstairs in 3, 5, and 8 pounds. And when I think of the weight I used to lift a few years ago, you know, I could do maybe a 20 to 25 pound dumbbell as a bicep curl, but now not so much. So I'm starting light and getting back into it, and did a little bit of yoga. I really forced myself to stretch those legs as much as possible. I got into downward facing dog, and I was doing, you know, walk the dog, where you're sort of pedaling your feet. And yeah, the right heel hurt like mad, but I think it needs that every single day. And I think if I do that every day, that I'm going to see a lot of improvement. So that's that. Oh, so many things to talk about. I thought this was just going to be a quick update on the sweater. Apparently not. Yesterday, I had a nice little fun time down here. It wasn't 100% satisfying because I realized that I actually wanted to do some sloshing of paint on paper. So even though I made these two fun little things, it didn't quite hit the spot. But let me show you what I made. I got some of this paper, this lovely gold printed paper from a pad I bought ages and ages ago. And I took some pages of blank paper, just online paper, out of my sketchbook, and I cut it a bit smaller than the cover page. And then I just got my pack of stickers. I don't know where I've put them. They must be in that pile over there. And I started just stickering. I put this winter sticker on the front. When I clamped this together with my bulldog clip, that's the name for it, I clamped everything together so that when I put it onto the hobby mat and hammered the 4mm cutter through it, the bulldog clip did scrape a teeny bit of gold off. So that's why I end up putting a sticker on the front. But I think that actually looks rather good. And then I just used the stickers from my winter sticker pad just to add a little bit of fun stuff every couple of pages. So there's a few different things like trees and houses and snowflakes. Does that one say it's cold outside? And that one says, enjoy every frosty moment. So every other page I added a sticker. And I bound this with just 3 holes and a piece of ribbon. I did consider actually putting eyelets in there, metal eyelets, and in the end I thought, nah, I'll just punch the holes and put the ribbon through. So that'll make a nice gift for somebody. I'm not sure who yet. And then the other thing I made was for myself, to be frank. I had bought a small sticker book from Michael's of Hello Kitty stickers. Because I'm a bit of a sucker for Hello Kitty. In fact, I've stuck a couple of stickers to my sewing machine. They're very, very cute. So I thought, how am I going to use these Hello Kitty stickers? So what I decided was to use one of the sheets in there in a little notebook. And I thought, this is a sort of notebook I can use. I can put it in my handbag, my regular daily crossbody bag that I use to carry all my essentials in, and I can have a little notebook in there. So I used the cover from the sticker book to make the cover of my notebook, and I just cut it to a weird sort of organic shape, but left this side straight so it'd be easy to put a couple of holes in and bind it with some ribbon. And after I'd made this, I did have an idea to put some pom-pom trim around here. I do have some pink pom-pom trim, but when I laid it out along the edges there, I thought, oh, that would look really cute. But I wasn't sure what glue I would use to have it stick and stay stuck. And I also thought if it's coming in and out of my handbag all the time, I'd probably yank them off anyway. So I left it plain. And then I just used some of the stickers to embellish the pages. Now with this one, I used some lined pages from a notebook. I don't know if you can tell, it's kind of glary with the ring light on. But you'll see they're not straight. They're at an angle. And that's because the pages were too narrow for me to cut it straight across, so I had to angle it. And then for this one, I've got some squared paper and some plain paper too. So 3 different kinds of paper, a bunch of little stickers, which are very, very cute. And that's for me, because I love Hello Kitty. Well, I think we've got as far as the sweater now. Now, the Faraway jumper. I told you last time, I think, that my gauge swatch wasn't correct, but I had decided to make the large anyway, which is the size I would have made if I had got gauge. Big mistake, Nicola. I knew my gauge was loose. I was using a 5mm hook with worsted weight yarn, and the pattern calls for 4mm and DK, and I knew it wasn't going to be quite right, but I did it anyway. Well, with hindsight, I probably should have followed the instructions for the medium. However, I am embracing the fact it's going to be oversized and boxy, and I've decided that I'm not going to do the ribbing at the bottom of the body because that will just look terrible. So it's going to be, I think the shoulders are going to be fine. It's just, when I put it on, it's a bit baggy around the back, and it's definitely going to be oversized around the ribs. But that's okay, I think. So I'm probably going to mess up my microphone here. So hang on, let me just put the microphone here and see if I can put the sweater on without making it too crackly. I noticed that one of my microphones is very crackly, even when I'm not touching it. I'm not sure which one it is, though. Hang on. It didn't help, did it? So let's put it on there. Okay. So I think from this angle, it looks pretty good. Let's stand up. I've got the apron on as well, which looks kind of odd probably, but I've got my crafting apron on. So at the moment, it looks a bit wide and frumpy. I haven't obviously gone back and done anything on the sleeves yet. So let's just move back a bit more. So I think the front looks fine. Yes, it's going to be oversized, but that's okay. It does a bit annoy me that there's a lot of extra fabric back there, but I think it's just going to have to be because it's unavoidable. And because this is a round yoke, the bottom and not the bottom, the back and front are curving down and lower than the sides. I think it all works out when you're done, but yeah. So as you can see, with this color work section here, I didn't want it just to be solid blue all the way. So I've decided to repeat this part, the red to red, this section here. I'm repeating it down here. So I've got to the end of the gold here. I need to put another couple of rounds of red. I need to do a red spike stitch round and then a plain red round, and then probably just a few more rounds of the blue. And then I can move on to the sleeves. So this worked out well for an oversized boxy sweater. So this is Lion Brand Heartland yarn. It's 100% acrylic. It's a worsted weight. Does have a tendency to be a teensy bit splitty, but not awkwardly so. 5mm hook, and I can't remember if the blue is Glacier Blue or Glacier something else. And then we've got Redwood, and yeah, I can't remember the names of these. The yoke is lovely and squishy because of the spike stitches, so it makes it a little bit more dense than it would be otherwise. Cannot remember all the names of the colours. And the funny thing was, this sweater was supposed to be a use up the stash of Heartland that you already have, Nicola. But it turned into a let's buy lots of balls of this, like 6 balls of this blue, and use a bit of the stash yarn. Oops. But it is a rather lovely blue. And it did match my hair until I put the purple on it. Oh well. Yeah, I think even though I'm irritated at myself for not doing the medium, I have accepted that this is not going to get frogged, and I'm going to finish it, and it's going to be oversized. And I think that's okay. And I don't think I'll do any ribbing on the sleeve cuffs either. I think I'll just leave it as granny stitch all the way. Granny stitch all the way. That sounds like a Christmas song, doesn't it? Well, that's updated you so far. I think I'm going to have a little bit of fun with some paint now. Now, I have no idea what I'm going to do. Actually, you know what? I think what I might do... I may do something that I've seen Andrea Nelson Art do on Instagram. She uses cakes of paint. Just making sure it's lined up for the camera here. She uses cakes of paint. But I have tubes. So when she sprays her paint things, I guess I can skip that step. I'm going to tape this down. Right, masking tape. Okay, I've got quite the selection of brushes now. The ones that have this colour bristle, this was my new set that I got a while back. And really, I didn't really need to buy new brushes because I had these white, this is brown Taklon. And then I have these white Taklon ones, which we've had for years. some foam brushes, which are good for gesso and glue and stuff. And then a few other things like this colourful set, which I remember buying for one of our kids for one of their birthdays. I've masked this down, and because this is a vinyl coating that I've stuck to my boring folding table with, well, it was a self-adhesive vinyl thing to make it look prettier, because when I wanted to do tutorials, I didn't want a boring plain table. So in theory, it's waterproof. That's the point I was trying to make. In theory, it's the point. Oh, looks like I've got a little bit of colour left on that brush because there's some blue coming up. Clean your brushes properly, people. This Andrea Nelson, she's great. There's a couple of Andrea Nelsons on Instagram. I think her handle is something like Andrea Nelson Art. And what she does, she teaches painting. Oh, yeah, I forgot I didn't like yellow ochre. It looks like baby poop. Don't you think that looks like baby poop? Oh dear. And I had my friend over for a painting day once recently. I said something about it being baby poop colour, and she didn't have any frame of reference because she doesn't have kids. And I thought, oh, I never thought of that. Oh, this white is really, really thick and dried up. I'm not sure why I need the white, because I'm probably not going to be blending anything. All right, this might be wasteful, but I'm going to put a bit of each colour out just because I can. So what Andrea Nelson is doing on Instagram at the moment, she's got a book. She's suggesting that we all join in. If you want to join in, just do it. Get yourself a book, watercolour paper. This one's mixed media paper, but it's not bad. Not quite as heavy as watercolour paper. And she is not doing necessarily a page a day, but maybe a page every other day. And she's going to talk you through doing something fun with watercolours each day. She just blobbed a whole ton of paint on the paper and then let it dry. And she just says, you know, don't worry if it's too much. You can just mop it up. Which reminds me, I need my tissues. Make sure I've got my tissues there. And all this time I've been talking, my page has dried up again, so I'm going to have to make it wet again. Oh, we're just going to wet it again. Wow, that really sucked it up a lot. One thing about living where I'm living, it's very dry. I live in British Columbia, Canada, not at the coast, away from the coast, and the air is really dry here. So if I was living in Vancouver, that page would have stayed wet way longer. Let's go with this round brush. Just wetting it because it feels like it's got something crispy on it. And I'm just going to blodge some paint colours in different areas. And let them all sort of blend into one another. And what she does after she's just sort of sloshed different colours around the page and filled up the page, she lets it dry. And then she said what you can do is outline the areas of colour. Outline the areas of colour in like a black pen or something. It looks so cool. It's so simple, but it's so cool. I know absolutely nothing about the rules and the must-dos or mustn't-dos of painting, so I think that's very freeing in a way. I'm not tied to any rules. Oh, that's a bit mucky, isn't it? Oh, I see. It's just, yeah. That water's getting messy fast. And what you can do is, with watercolours, you can just slosh on more water or gloss it up if there's too much. Awesome. These two blues look very, very similar. Make sure they're nowhere near each other. Hopefully this masking tape will keep the paint from seeping into it, because when I've let it dry and peeled off the green tape, I'm hoping it's a nice crisp edge. Now I can't remember which colour was which here. I think I'm going to mix this red together with this yellow and make an orange. Ooh, yes. I don't have an orange. Oh, look how that yellow has travelled. Isn't that lovely? Can you see that? I think you can see that. And the beauty of this is it looks kind of like a nebula when it's done. Looks like something from outer space. Oh, it's fantastic. This page is getting very wrinkly, but I don't care. I'm going to mix the brown and the white together because that brown is too dark for my liking. Making me think of coffee. A sort of a channel of yellow here, looking very lovely. I wonder what would happen if I mixed this green here with this baby poop. I mean, yellow ochre. Oh, I'm not sure about that. Not sure what that bright green is. I think it's called Viridian Hue. Viridian. Oh, there's some lovely names. Viridian. Just maybe add a little bit along here. Not sure if I want black. What am I going to put in that corner now? Big decisions. Well, what if I take some of this red and put it into this blue and make a purple? Oh, I like that idea. Oh, yes. Oh, this is so satisfying. There's nothing to it. Hers was, I think, a little bit more flowy. Mine is a little bit more ordered compared to hers. Her colours definitely seem to flow into each other more. But I love the way the blue has bled into that red there. That is so nice. We need to encourage this yellow a little bit as well. Well, there's not a lot I can do with that now until it has dried. So I think what I should do is make something else, and I'll turn the camera off for that, or this video is going to be far too long. After I turned the camera off, I decided I was going to do a lot of blotting with some tissue paper onto here. And I really like the texture that adds to it. It's not dry yet though. I'm going to have to leave it a bit longer. And then I did this one, which is more of a landscapey one because it's got that horizontal sort of look to it. And it was just the colours I had already mixed up and just graduated them from top to bottom or bottom to top. And again, that's going to take a while to dry because there's some puddles in there. So I think my best course of action now is to go and make the soup for dinner and then come back and add to those a little bit later on. Okay, the soup's on. I don't know what it's going to be like. I have a habit of looking in the fridge and just picking 3 vegetables and throwing them in a pot with maybe some canned tomatoes and possibly some sort of milk and water and herbs and spices, and simmering it all up and hoping for the best. It usually comes out okay. We'll see. Anyway, I grabbed this notebook, my December journal, because this is where I wrote the colours for the Lion Brand Heartland. The main blue I'm using is called Glacier Bay. That's my main colour. The rust is called Yosemite. The gold is called Canyon, and the red is called Redwood. I also have Olympic, which is blue, Rocky Mountain, which is green, Kobuk Valley, I think that's V stands for valley, which is a kind of purple, and Great Smoky Mountain, which is grey, and Black Canyon, which is obviously black, which did not make it into this project. So I have quite a lot left to do something else afterwards. Yeah. So I'm also keeping track of my rows and things on, or I was, in this notebook for the sweater. So even though it's not December anymore, I'm still using it. I did start writing down my vlog notes once Vlogmas was over, and then I realised I should have gone back to my other notebook for that. Never mind. I need to write some things on my whiteboard to remind me what to do for my future project plans, but right now it's covered in batting. I brought the batting down as my design wall when I was making that Christmas quilt, and I can't get to my whiteboard. So that's something I'm going to have to remove so I can write a big note to myself on the wall, and that way I won't forget. Okay, I think this first painting is sufficiently dry, so let's tip you down and see if I can do anything worth doing with this. I have these rather lovely pens which I've had for a long time. They are Faber-Castell Hit Artist pens, and I used to use them for my adult colouring books, and they come in a lovely range of colours. And I am going to attempt to use the black one to outline my thingies, my areas of colour, and hope I don't wreck this painting. So I'm going to try this and hope it doesn't make it ruined. Of course, the separation of colour is quite... Oops, got paint on my arm now from the other painting I just made. the separation of colour is a bit vague in places, so just going to have to fudge it. These pens are lovely. Of course, I overlapped the colours quite a bit when I was dabbing them with the Kleenex earlier. Oh, I just realised I'm following this line, but this area here is brown as well. Do you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me a bit of when we did the counties of England in school, and we had to do a map of England and then fill the counties in with plasticine, which, if you don't know, is a reusable, non-hardening clay. We actually stuck the plasticine to the paper with the idea that we would learn the counties and their shapes and positions, a bit like people in the States, United States, would do with their American states, no doubt. Oh, I think I've gone too far with that. That's there. I think I should tag Andrea Nelson Art with this so she can see my blobby drawing based on her inspiration. There we go. I even signed it. Now I wonder if my other one is dry yet. Oh no, there's definite puddles on that other one still. And I don't want to blot that one. I want it to dry on its own. Let's take this off and see what it looks like. Ooh. I'm very excited that there's going to be another play date coming up at the end of the week with my friends. I'm calling it a play date because we're going to be playing with paints and things again. Even if they don't all want to do it, all it takes is for a couple of us to want to have a little bit of fun with it. I can put the materials out on the dining room table. Very fortunate to have a very large dining room table that sits at least 8. And I left the felt and the waterproof tablecloth on there from last time. I don't even have to reset the table. You can just take the black tablecloth off. That's the sort of smart one. And we'll be all set. Get the paints out, the paper, the pens. Now, I think this is I'm not sure, it's probably perforated there, but I think I'm going to cut it with my viscous cutter. Well, that's good. I was thinking that the piece of paper might be too big to fit into my cutting machine. There we are. Finished. Very amateurish painting. The table feels all right. I don't think it did any harm. Taping and painting straight onto the vinyl peel and stick stuff. I think it probably has to finish completely drying out, but that is done. I suppose there's other ways you could embellish it, isn't there? But I don't plan to. What can we do about getting that to dry? Maybe we're just going to put that on the floor. And then this other one, yeah, I should think about what I'm going to do with that. Me being so impatient, I was going to peel off the green tape, but there are areas of wet still touching the green tape. So I'm making myself wait. Well, I just got number 3 son to help me roll up the batting that was on the wall just there. And now I can use my whiteboard again. So the intentions that I mentioned in my last video for this year, I've written on the board. I've got 2025, the year of the stash. Use some of the precious fabrics. Then I've got practice using the serger. I definitely need to get good at that. And strengthen flexibility and heal the heel. Those are my 2 health goals. Upper body strength exercises, yoga, heal the plantar fasciitis. And then for projects, so works in progress, I've got the Faraway jumper and the 10-stitch twist blanket, which I haven't worked on much at all. And I count the Festoon shawl by Dora Does as a UFO, or unfinished object. It is sitting in a bag, has been sitting in a bag. I think probably I haven't touched it in a year, and I'm probably going to have to frog that. But I haven't fully decided on that yet. I want to make the granny triangle cowl that I mentioned last time that Claudia of Crochet Luna sent me the pattern for. It's a bulky weight granny cowl, like a bandana style, so it comes to a point at the front. Don't have any bulky yarn that's ready to go, but I could easily double up some worsted weight, maybe, and see how that looks. I've got some DK yarn that I'd like to stash bust, and then that big bag of worsted weight that I showed you at the beginning of today's video. I think I definitely need to plan a blanket for that. It could just be a granny blanket, or actually, you know what? Dora Does has a blanket called something rounds, I think. It looks like it's a linen stitch, crochet linen stitch. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm pretty sure it's free. And I'll look it up, and when I edit, I'll put the name of it here. That would make a nice blanket. It would just be slightly different from a granny, but just as mindless. And then, because I want to use up some of my precious fabrics, I've written down Free Spirit, Fat Quarters, and Batiks. Yes. So this painting that I did, the second one, is definitely taking forever to dry. It's got some puddles on it, but I was thinking of drawing on it with my gel pens, but I think I'm just going to have to wait. I'll tip you down and you can take a look. So there you can see it. I don't know if you can see, but there's a puddle here, a couple of puddles there and there. Oh, there's a big one all the way along and over here as well. So I don't think I'll be finishing that before I eat supper, and I want to get editing this video. So I think you might have to wait till next time to see that one finished. I think you might be a little wonky, but I just want to finish up this video because, as I say, I'm an impatient person. I need to wash my palette off and get rid of my dirty paint water. And oh, I found a few large safety pins. I was looking for something to pin my roll of batting up, and in the end I used these clips. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Oh, I tossed it in there. No, I can't find it. Here it is. I've got these big green clips, which are the same ilk as the little things that you clip your work instead of pinning, wonder clips, but they're like on steroids. So I'm using 5 of them to hold that roll of batting up there by the ceiling. So I think that works. I don't think it's going to fall down, at least. But that's what I was looking for to do that. And then I found some nice big safety pins. So I'm going to sew a large safety pin to the back of my little snowman to make him into a pin or brooch. And then I've got a couple more nice ones to use for making a couple of other pins. I just think it'll be fun to have some embellishments on my work vest. Make it a bit more interesting. Maybe give people a smile. So that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching, as usual. Thanks for all the great comments on the last video. And I will see you again real soon. Bye for now.